the Washington Post is at it again. They take reality and they just say this. And they ignore every bit of context around it. Because if they do, they can support Republicans saying both sides. Now, take a look at this. It is disconcerting that America sees politics as the most important trigger for whether to pursue a friendship with a new acquaintance. It is far more disconcerting that most Americans feel the government is rigged against them, and that more than a quarter speculate that armed opposition to the government may soon be necessary. So, when Democrats say that we don't want to start a relationship and be friends with Republicans, when they try to overthrow America, believe that women shouldn't have the right to have an abortion, that black people should not have the right to vote because some delusion about protecting America's elections, that is the same by the Washington Post as Republicans saying they don't want to befriend a Democrat because we lie. We have different views than them. So that's the thing. There is two very separate worlds about what is going on. So when Democrats say Republicans are bullies who want to impose their political beliefs on others, that's kind of correct. Because the Supreme Court, without any historical reasoning or logic, just stripped women of their right to an abortion. Because their religious beliefs say so. When Democrats believe that Republicans are untruthful because Trump has lied hundreds of thousands of times and Republicans follow right behind him, that's a difference than Republicans that believe Democrats are bullies because we don't think Republicans should impose their beliefs on us or on other people. There is a significant difference between those two places. Republicans shouldn't decide who has abortions, and Democrats who say women should be allowed to make their own decision. Just because the answers to the questions match up doesn't mean why they give those answers are the same. Now, when Democrats say the government is corrupt and rigged against everyday people, we're saying that the federal government has been and is specifically supports large corporations and what they do. It supports laws that make it harder to sue corporations when they poison us. That's what Democrats say. When Republicans say it, it is the government holding our religion back and holding us down. Are those two really the same? When Democrats say, I feel more and more like a stranger in my own country, when Republicans are trying to overthrow America, is that really the same as Republicans saying they feel more and more like a stranger in their own country when black people are more of the population and they just don't want them to vote, get their way? That seems like two wholly separate issues. How about I generally trust our elections to be conducted fairly, accurately, counted. Now, Democrats, who won 7 out of the last 8 presidential popular votes, don't get 7 out of 8 last presidential presidents, do we? So when Democrats are only 75% somewhat agree that America conducts its elections fairly. Now, even going beyond, so we can put away the Constitution's bias towards red states and just look at what Republican states do. Texas, one of the least voting states, should be a purple state, but Republicans in that state have made it impossible to turn that state purple. Now, when Democrats get 1 million more votes for the House and Republicans get the House by 20 and 30 seats, it is not unreasonable for Democrats to say and see that the elections are not conducted fairly. Now, Republicans say the election isn't conducted fairly. They believe a delusion that Trump told them so he could overthrow America. These two things are not equal. But the Washington Post sure likes to pretend it is. Now, how about another? It may be necessary at some point for citizens to take up arms against the government. Well, Republicans already took up arms trying to overthrow America, and they're much more likely to say that they should take up arms because it may be necessary, where video after video shows Republicans saying very loudly that they want to murder those that stole the election from Trump, even that there was no evidence of it. Is that really the same that Democrats are, coming to the realization that maybe, just maybe someday in the future, we're going to have to take up arms and defend democracy against Republicans that are actively planning to murder us? Are those the two that should really be equal? Now, the Washington Post is to the right. Let's face it, just about every single news article and news organization is. And it's because Republicans have lied for decades. And those lies have seeped into the media itself. Because Republicans say the media is out to get them. And the media, to prove Republicans wrong, or just to get them to look at their articles, bends over backward and pretends Republicans' lies aren't that bad.